I was driving through the middle of nowhere in Utah on my way back from a road trip. It was around 2:30 a.m. when I realized I had to stop badly. My gas tank was low, and more importantly, I needed a bathroom. I saw a faded sign for a 24-hour gas station glowing weakly in the distance. The place looked half dead, just one flickering light outside, and a beat-up pickup truck parked near the side. I pulled in, filled the tank quickly, then walked toward the bathroom door on the side of the building. It was unlocked. Inside, the light buzzed overhead, casting a pale yellow glow. The place wasn't filthy, just off. Too quiet. No music from the station. No wind. Just that faint hum from the overhead light. There were 2 stalls and a urinal. The last stall was wide open, the door slightly bouncing from a breeze I couldn't feel. I went into the first stall and closed the door. About halfway through doing my business, I heard it. It came from the stall next to me, the open one. At first, I thought it was dripping water, maybe a loose pipe. But then it changed. Like someone knocking in a pattern. Deliberate. I stayed quiet. I didn't want to say anything. Then, a whisper, "Hey!" A man's voice. Low. Hoarse. Close. "Are you alone?" My heart dropped. I didn't respond. I didn't even move. I hoped he'd assume the stall was empty. The voice came again, even softer. "I saw you come in. Just you." That's when I realized something. The man hadn't entered the bathroom. I would have heard the door open. I would have heard footsteps. I hadn't heard anything. I slowly bent down to glance under the stall divider. There were no feet. I stood up fast and backed into the wall, heart pounding. Then the stall door next to me slammed shut. Bam! I bolted out of mine without even zipping up properly and ran toward the main door. It opened easily, too easily. No resistance, no squeak, like it had just been used. I looked around the lot. No one. No new cars. No sound. I ran to my car, got in, locked the doors, and peeled out of that place, tires squealing. About 20 minutes down the road, I finally calmed down enough to check my rear view. Nothing. Just the dark highway behind me. But when I stopped at a diner an hour later, I noticed something chilling. On the rear passenger window, smeared in the fog from inside the car, were 3 faint fingerprints. Long, thin, and pointing inward. I don't know who or what was in that bathroom with me. I don't know how it got near my car. All I know is that ever since that night, I never stop at isolated gas stations. And I never use public bathrooms alone after dark. Last summer, I went on a solo camping trip to clear my head. I'd broken up with my girlfriend, hated my job, and needed to just vanish for a bit. I drove up to the edge of a national forest in Oregon, hiked about 4 miles off trail, and set up camp in a little clearing near a creek. No phone signal. No people. Just the sound of nature and the occasional rustle in the trees. It was perfect. That night, after cooking a cheap dinner on my portable stove, I lay in my tent, listening to the creek and watching the last light fade through the mesh. Sometime around 2 a.m., I woke up, not to a sound, but to complete silence. The kind of silence that rings in your ears. No wind. No water. Not even insects. That's when I heard a voice. Faint. Just outside the tent. Lucas. My name. clear as day. I froze. It wasn't shouted. It wasn't angry. It was soft, calm, like someone trying not to wake others. "Lucas, come out." I didn't move. My heart pounded so loud I thought whoever was out there would hear it. Then I noticed something even more terrifying. That voice? It was my voice. Exact tone. Exact rhythm. Like someone had recorded me and was playing it back. "Lucas, come out, please." I didn't speak. I just sat up slowly and grabbed the hatchet I'd used to chop firewood. The voice kept repeating the same phrase every few seconds in my own voice. "Lucas, come out, please." But I didn't hear footsteps. No movement around the tent. Nothing brushing the nylon walls. After what felt like an hour of that same phrase, everything went quiet again. The real kind of quiet. I waited until sunrise. Didn't sleep a second. When it was light enough, I stepped out, expecting to see footprints, or maybe a speaker, or some evidence that this was a prank. But there was nothing. No tracks. No disturbed dirt. No broken branches. I packed up and left. Didn't even bother cleaning up my campsite. I just wanted to get out of there. But here's the part that still messes me up. About 3 weeks later, I was scrolling through audio messages on my phone. Ones I'd sent my girlfriend when we were still together. I found one from earlier that year, right after an argument we had. I'd gone hiking alone that day too. In the voice memo, I said, "Lucas, come out, please. Don't do this to yourself." Same exact tone. Same exact voice. Word for word. I don't know how. I don't know what was in that forest. But it heard me once. And it remembered. About a year ago, I took a part-time job cleaning a local museum overnight. It wasn't glamorous, but the pay was decent, and I figured a quiet place like that would be an easy gig. Just me, a mop, and maybe a podcast in my ears to pass the time. The first few nights were uneventful. The museum was small, 3 floors, most of it exhibits behind glass. I was given access to all areas, a set of keys, and a cheap little walkie-talkie in case the alarm went off or I needed help. But I never needed it. One Thursday night, around 2:30 a.m., I was in the top floor near the Egyptian exhibit when I heard a loud clang from downstairs. It wasn't a creak or a building settling kind of noise. It sounded like metal hitting tile. I paused my music and waited. Nothing else. I assumed something fell over, maybe one of the signs or a janitor's bucket I forgot to store. I took the elevator down to the main floor and walked the halls. Everything looked fine. But as I passed the hallway leading to the Colonial America section, I froze. A light was on. None of the lights should be on unless I triggered them. They're motion activated, and I hadn't even walked that way yet. That exhibit was filled with mannequins dressed in period clothing, set up like they were inside a 1700s home. I walked toward the light, and as I turned the corner, I saw it. The mannequin in the rocking chair had moved. It was normally posed with its hands in its lap. Now, one hand was resting on the armrest, and the head was tilted toward me. I thought maybe I was mistaken. Maybe I just never paid enough attention to how it was posed before. I told myself that and went to turn off the light. The second I stepped into the room, the rocking chair creaked. I spun around. The mannequin was in the same position, but I swear it had just rocked slightly. I stood frozen, watching it for a good 20 seconds. Nothing. Just silence. I backed out of the room slowly and went to check the security monitors in the back office. There were no live recordings, just playback. I went back an hour in the camera feed for that wing. Nothing strange. Until 2:31 a.m. In the grainy black and white footage, the light in the colonial exhibit flicked on. No one was in the frame. Then, frame by frame, the mannequin's head moved. Not dramatically, just enough to turn slightly toward the hallway. Then one hand shifted, finger by finger, until it rested on the armrest. I paused the footage. I should have called someone, the police, the museum director, anyone. But I didn't. I told myself it was a glitch. Bad camera quality, shadows, maybe the rocking chair had slowly turned from vibrations or air pressure. So I went back to work. That was my mistake. 2 nights later, I heard humming. I was on the second floor, and the sound came from below. A soft, feminine hum, like an old lullaby. I crept down the stairs and followed the sound. It led me to the room with medieval armor displays. Full suits of armor behind glass. No speakers. No recordings. The humming was louder now. And then, clang, one of the armored gloves had fallen to the floor, right in front of the glass case. I bolted. I didn't even try to investigate. I ran straight to the office, locked the door, and stayed there until morning. The next day, I quit. I never went back, and I never explained why. But sometimes, late at night, when I'm walking past dark buildings or museums, I swear I hear that humming again, low, steady, and just close enough that it feels like someone or something is right behind me. If you made it this far, maybe you belong here. Subscribe to Whisper Cage. More true horror is waiting.